Hey, what's going on, everybody? Finch here, bringing you another episode of Roll Call. Hopefully you checked out the first one and you liked it. If you did, then you're going to notice already that we've stepped up the production value in a pretty meaningful way for this one. So hopefully you like it, a little bit of extra help coming my way. I'm going to be taking a look at Energy up against Space Station. I believe this was day 2. This was before Space Station had gone down to the lower bracket. And Space Station just seems to continually struggle up against Energy, even though they look good. So I wanted to kind of dive in a little bit, see exactly what it was that happened here in a couple of those team fights. And I'm doing it specifically by looking at the solo laners in this fight, the junglers, and by looking at the supports. It is Roll Call apps, by the way, so we're going to be looking at what the roles in particular are going to be doing. So we can go ahead and hop in. I got us towards the beginning of one of these fights that happens early on here where we're going to be following along with adapting. But I wanted to take a look at the supports from the beginning. I think that's kind of going to be the most important part. And in particular, we're going to take a look at Jeff Hinla. So we can go ahead and roll it now, and we'll stop it once this fight starts to get a little bit underway. But Jeff Hinla is the one that you're going to want to follow here in particular. He's about to dash in. Let's go ahead and pause it here if we can. Yeah, and this is actually a perfect pause that we got here because this is why it's so tough for Space Station, because Jeff Hinla's doing the right thing, right? Look who he's trying to go in and get this taunt off onto, Emilito and Maniac. This is exactly what you want your support to do. He's getting the most important carry and probably the best character at peeling on the side of Energy if he could get this taunt off that he wants, that he's looking for. But Emilito, being the man that he is, gets the stun off onto Jeff Hinla. So we can actually go ahead and play it just real briefly, and you'll see the results of that. Jeff Hinla gets stunned, can't get the taunt that he's looking for here onto Emilito. Maniac Yaman is here as well. This would have been so good. Everyone was perfectly funneled up here. Look at this, where they all are packed in. They could have very easily been able to funnel in on that on back if they'd been able to get that taunt off. So when you see Space Station losing these games, it's not that Space Station struggling. It's small plays like these that really kind of, to me, changed this entire team fight. So Jeff Hinla, unfortunately, ends up falling along. And again, we're going to stick with the supports for this very first time here. So I don't even think we got Emilzy on screen here just yet, or either that or he's stacked in with everyone else. So go ahead and roll it. We're going to follow along what Emilzy does for the rest of this fight here now. Jeff Hinla has to fall back, not able to get the initiation they want. So now it's Maniac who goes in. Emilzy is right there to follow up with him, though. We're going to wait until adapting comes in to follow up on what it is that Emilzy does that I really like in this fight. So go ahead and pause it for me here now. So right now, Emilzy's gone in. He's helped to make sure they could lock down Jeff Hinla. He's going to end up falling here in just a moment. He's got that dot damage on him. He is not going to make it out. But look down here. This is where Andenster is hanging out. That means that even though Yaman and Emilito are in the exact right spot, they're in the backside of the team fight, clumped right up with their support and their solo laners, that frontline presence. Andenster could come in and actually cause a lot of problems for this fight. Unfortunately, Emilzy has other ideas. You can't see it down here on the bottom, but he has Shell. That's also going to help out here. Go ahead and roll it. We'll pause it in just another moment. Adapting comes in, but pause it here. You just saw it. The Shell came out from Emilzy. He immediately turned back around as well to try and make sure they peeled for their backline. So Jeff Hinla dies elsewhere from the dot damage from Emilzy, and he turned right back around. The second that Andenster comes in, his head snapped around, immediately dropped the Shell, make sure there was no chance Andenster was going to be able to come in and try and take out one of his carries. You can go ahead and let it roll out from here on that video. That's what Emilzy did for him in that fight. He was able to come in and help control Jeff Hinla, find that kill, and make sure that his carries survived throughout this fight. So excellent play, I feel like, from his support. And you also saw from Jeff Hinla what he was trying to get done, and it didn't end up working out for him. So we can go ahead and roll it back to the beginning here and take a look at this fight one more time. But this time we're going to look at it from the jungler's perspectives from it. We're going to follow along with adapting here first. Go ahead and play it for me from the beginning of this one. Adapting and Andenster are going to meet up on the left-hand side of this fight, and I love what they do. They're both trying to take each other's Magi cloaks from each other, these bubbles that you see, and they're going to meet up on the left-hand side. Jeff Hinla ripped the dream. Go ahead and pause it for me here. These two are fighting. Kind of hard to tell exactly what's going on here, but this is perfect where they come in and pop each other's cloaks, trying to see if he can weaken Andenster at the start of the fight. Now, Maniac's going in at this exact same moment, so Adapting's going to drop this fight. He's mission accomplished, got the Magi's cloak. He's going to go right up into the ult. Go ahead and play it for me here from here. And this is so important too. Aquarius isn't able to get his ultimate off. We'll talk about the soul range in a moment. But he gets the 2-man knockup. This forces the taunt, and Aquarius dunks back in on Adapting. Pause it for me here if you can. That's so important from what Adapting does. I know it looks like he just goes in and he dies. That's not the case at all. He goes in and gets the 2-man knockup. Aquarius had his ultimate forced out earlier, but he comes back down just to get the kill. That means it's not used ideally on Maniac, onto Emilzy, onto those tankier targets. That's what you want that execute for in the late game. Adapting forces that out. He forces everyone to turn back around. Jeff Hinla uses the taunt on him. He doesn't live very long. He doesn't get to use the taunt. anyway if he had it later on, but importantly enough, that's another important cooldown that was used on adapting a lot. It was very disruptive. Now the rest of energy can come in and get that set up. But the other jungler adapting, we talked about him a little bit already. He was waiting perfectly. If we could actually back it up just a little bit, we can watch from exactly what Anderson's doing. This is perfect. Back it up just a little bit. I love this. We can even go back a little bit further because remember go ahead and play it for me from here. Adapting goes up into the air, so Annister's forgotten about a little bit on the left-hand side, and he waits. He's being patient. Pause it again for me. He's being so patient, waiting on the backhand side. They all are focused in forward because Adapting has gone in. They've forgotten where this Serket is. He wants to come in the backside, and in particular, he wants to get Yaman or Imelita, one of these squishier ones, in the backside. And that's actually what he does. Go ahead and play it for me here again. I think it's Yaman that he grabs the last breath, but the shell is there perfectly. The burn is coming in from Milsey as well. There's just no chance, and he can't make it out because Imelita doesn't miss auto attacks either. Unfortunately, our junglers both fall here, but only really Adapting accomplishes this job. So let's start this fight over one more time. This time we're gonna take a look at what our solo laners do. Go ahead and roll it for me. Aquarius, unfortunately, does not get to do too much because Maniac is doing his job. Aquarius is in the right spot. He's up at the front of the fight, but Maniac is just about to jump in here once they punish Jeff Hinla, and his paralyzing spits down as well. So once you see that blink, pause it. This is great here from Maniac. He doesn't get the ideal targets. This is Jeff Hinla and Aquarius, so he would probably prefer if he could get Baskin and Eve, he can get Barracuda, but they're way too far back for that to happen. But if you're gonna get a group, at least get both of them. So he couldn't get the carries, but he got both of the frontliners, right? So they can't control the fight. They can't help right now while they're up inside the Stygian Torment. So he at least gets both and brings them back in, and you unroll it. This actually forces Aquarius to drop his ultimate immediately afterwards. So Aquarius doesn't get to really do anything he wants to do in this fight. He does drop in, make sure Adapting dies. He was dead to rights anyway, but they really don't get much out of him. Pause it here. Now, after Maniac makes sure they get that kill on the Jeff Hinla, he immediately goes into zoning duty. He's looking for Barracuda, trying to push him out of the fight. Aquarius is here as well, but he's making sure those guys can't be part of the fight. Meanwhile, Emilzy and everyone else has snapped back onto Adapting, or rather onto Annister, sorry, to make sure that he can't kill their own backline. I really love what we're seeing from Maniac, but he doesn't get married to this idea, right? It doesn't end up mattering in this equation, but this is the right thing. Go ahead and roll it out. Maniac doesn't, he's not like, I have to follow them forever. He just forces them out, comes back through. Once it's clear Annister's gonna die, he gives it up and goes back to doing that frontline presence again. So a great fight from Energy. All three of them, I feel like Maniac, Emilzy, and Adapting did exactly what they needed here in this fight. And that meant that Aquarius had to use his ability suboptimally. Annister was in the correct position, but with Emilzy paying attention, he couldn't do what it is that he wanted to do there in that fight either. And then unfortunately, we also saw a great play there from Jeff Hinla. He had the right idea, but he couldn't quite get what he was looking for either. So in that situation, I feel like everyone was trying to do the right thing, but those three in particular from Energy were just a little bit too strong. But I got one more clip we can take a look at here in just a moment. We'll go ahead and get that one going. In fact, looks like we got it ready. Good job back there, boys. We can go ahead and jump right into that one. This time, we're gonna follow along with Emilzy and with Maniac. I don't love Adapting in this fight nearly as much, so let's try and follow the supports and the solo laner this time. Emilzy trying to control Jeff Hinla. Pause it here for me. Adapting's doing Adapting things, right? He's over here on the left-hand side. He's come all the way around trying to come over on the backside of this fight, but he doesn't really get much of value out. That's why we're not following too much with him. Instead, I'm gonna stick a little bit more with what Emilzy does because he kind of tracks Jeff Hinla the entirety of this fight. We'll follow along a little bit longer. He wants to make sure Jeff can't be a nuisance for him. Go ahead and play. Emilzy's gonna make sure that he tracks him almost the whole fight. Maniac controls too, but look where Emilzy's looking. He's right here in the front. He wants Jeff Hinla again. Pause it for me. Hammer's about to come down. Perfect timing. Gets Jeff Hinla again. This is what the call clearly is coming out from Energy. They want to try and punish this Athena and make sure there's as few taunts in this fight as possible. You can't let an Athena back because then she could Defender of Olympus back into the fight again with a fresh health bar. It's become clear that this is what Energy wants to do, and Emilzy never lost track of it the whole fight. He's got him controlled right here, and he's going to make sure he dies too. But he's also going to have the best recognition for when Jeff Hinla is just dead to rights. So go ahead and play it for me. We'll pause it here in just another quick moment. He does the Dragonic Corruption. Make sure they get Jeff Hinla dead to rights. And even though Adapting dies, Emilzy jumps in, pause right here. He's the one that recognized they can keep going. Everyone else from Energy had kind of come back in, but at least it looks to me like it's Emilzy who's making the call. No, we can get Barracuda here as well. Look at that HP bar. Barracuda is dead to rights. And Emilzy's the one that makes sure that one ends up happening. So a great play by him to not only single out Jeff Hinla early on, but recognize he can get Barracuda too. Go ahead and let this one roll all out. In fact, we can go ahead and restart that next clip in just a moment because I'm done here talking about Emilzy, but it's perfect recognition from him that he can get Barracuda, target Jeff Himmler throughout that whole fight, and he sticks to it. It wasn't so much about peeling that time. It was a little bit more important that he focuses on making sure he finds that target. Now let's follow Maniac this time. Go ahead and roll it for me again. We know what is going to happen. He's looking for the big time. Stygian Torment yet again. And where's Aquarius in this fight? He's not able to do much at all, as he's on the backside getting hit by the Fire Giant, actually. So again, I feel like the jungle and the support or Soul Lanes aren't able to have the same impact. But Maniac goes in, gets the triple Stygian Torment. Can't find too much there, but at least forces them out. Pause it here. He's the one that keeps Barracuda on the right-hand side of the fight. Barracuda is sort of that one last agent that could have come back in and maybe helped out Jeff Himmler with the way that everything gets zoned out. But this is what the target is, right? They've got Adapting landing on the backside to keep 3 busy. Maniac is or rather Barracuda, who had to jump out busy as well. He's right there with Annister too. And then Jeff Himmler's the target. So Maniac's gonna keep pushing forward. Go ahead and roll it. My man is not the one that's trying to come back towards Jeff Himmler. He is surging forward. He actually lands the 2-man stun. Adapting accomplishes very little, but a great stun there comes out from Maniac with the paralyzing spit. That really sets up that fight as well. So I love what we saw the solo laners and the supports were able to do in this fight. Unfortunately, it wasn't as good of a fight from Adapting here this time. He actually did kind of struggle a little bit, ended up giving his life away, but a great job we saw from Maniac, a great job we saw from Emilzy in this fight, and that's kind of the point I'm trying to make here with Space Station, right? It's not that they had the wrong idea, or even that they poorly executed. Energy just recognized what the plan was from them and answered it very well. In particular, Emilzy did. In particular, they didn't have an answer to Maniac's 2 initiations with those Stygian Torments. Those were just too strong for them as well, and we all know what ends up happening. Energy are the ones that go on to win it, so they're the ones that are actually your summer champions. A great play from here. This is just plays like this that end up letting that one happen. But again, that's going to do it here for us. We just want to take a closer look at what specific roles do inside these team fights. That was jungle support and the solo laners. Check it out next time. Maybe we'll look at what the carries are doing. You just have to check out the next video.